Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. Like Victor says, today I will be updating the media on Homicide 29 for 2016. On Sunday, May 15, 2016, sometime around 8 p.m., two individuals and the deceased traveled together in a vehicle while they attended the area of Jamestown, Crescent, and John Garland Boulevard. At this time, they picked up a third individual, and they all attended the east end of the city, where they went to watch a basketball game. One of the individuals in that vehicle, one of the individuals that was with the deceased was playing in an organized basketball league and was participating in the game. At the completion of the basketball game, all four individuals entered the vehicle and returned to the west end of the city. The vehicle returned to the Jamestown and John Garland area where they were supposed to drop off one of the occupants of that vehicle. The driver of the vehicle entered John Garland Boulevard from Martin Grove and proceeded eastbound on the road. The vehicle was traveling on the south side of the roadway. As the vehicle continued to travel east until and just before Jamestown Crescent, the vehicle performed a U-turn, essentially turning the car around to face west. As the vehicle was stopped on John Garland Boulevard, person or persons unknown commenced shooting at the vehicle. The vehicle was shot at several times, striking the deceased, who was seated in the back seat. None of the occupants exited the vehicle, and the drivers sped away where they attended a hospital. Attempts made by the medical staff were made to revive the victim. However, they were unsuccessful. None of the other occupants of the vehicle were struck by the projectiles fired at the vehicle. The deceased was identified as Candice Rochelle Bobb, 33 years of age, of Malton. At the time, Ms. Bobb was 5 months pregnant. An emergency cesarean section was performed on the deceased, and baby KyrieBobb was born. At the time, he was reported to be in stable condition and was transferred to an intensive care unit. On Sunday, May 15th, baby Kyrie was pronounced deceased. Today, I'm informing the public that as a result of a continuing investigation and based on information available to us at this time, if the offender or offenders are identified and arrested, they would also be charged in the homicide of baby Kyrie. I'm appealing to anyone who has any information with respect to both of these homicides to report it and contact us at the Homicide Squad. I understand there's a hashtag that's been created, which I understand it's hashtag KyrieBobb. Anyone with any information is asked to access the normal social media sites. If they have any information, then they can certainly contact us through the Toronto Police Homicide Squad at 416-808-7400, or they can contact through Crime Stoppers. However, I'd be seeking to speak to anyone who was in the area at the time of this shooting so that we can certainly identify these people.
Detective Sergeant, just to clarify dates, you said that the shooting happened on Sunday, May 15th, 2016?
Yes.
KyrieBobb, then you said died on Sunday, May 15th. Is that how you said it? The dates sounded off to me. Can you just confirm in your notes?
Sorry, it's June. Sorry. Yeah.
What was the date on the death?
The 15th.
So it was 1 month later?
Yes.
Where are you in this investigation?
Well, we're certainly going and speaking to as many witnesses as possible. Hopefully, with this appeal today, we can generate some more information with respect to anyone who saw the shooting. We're certainly, appealing to the community at Jamestown Crescent to see if they were out and about that afternoon or that evening. And hopefully we can get some information from them with respect to what they saw.
At the time, I think police were saying it was a targeted shooting. Who was the target? What was the motive?
Well, I think I could say now that for sure Rochelle Bobb was not targeted. I I can't say specifically if it was any of the individuals in the car that were targeted. However, I think I did say before, it may have been just the movements of this vehicle on Jamestown that could have drawn attention to the offenders with respect to the shooting.
Well, what do you mean?
It may have been something the offender may have seen that prompted them to start shooting at the vehicle. We're still following up with different parts of the investigation. However, I can say that Ms. Bobb was not targeted at all. So.
I don't quite understand what they might have seen. What is that?
Well, the U-turn in front of the Jamestown complex could have drawn the attention of the offender as being some type of threat to them.
There was recently a shooting on Jamestown Crescent. There was a drive-by. A 15-year-old young man was shot. There was also a shooting where someone was not shot. Any chance that this could be connected to what happened to Rochelle Bobb?
It certainly can. We're certainly following up with that. We're trying to make forensic links if at all possible. However, I don't want to share too much of the information between the two shootings or the two investigations. I truly am expecting and hoping that I get an untainted version of what happened on the night Ms. Bobb was murdered. I'm appealing to anyone who may have some information with respect to these offenders or specifically what they saw on that evening. It's very important that I speak to these people directly, as they can provide some more of the narrative as to what happened here.
So it is possible they could be connected. I mean, this was, almost 6 months later.
It is possible. However, we still have a lot of work to do with respect to conclusively linking both of those shootings together. We still have a lot of work. It's certainly something we would consider. However, we have some work to do before we decide to link both shootings.
In terms of the movement of that vehicle, which was very specific that you gave us and a timeline before that, is this based entirely on the testimony and information that you were given from the people in that vehicle, or do you have reliable, good information from other people who may have seen that motion, that action happening?
That comes directly from the people who were in the vehicle. This is my appeal here today, is to try and see if anyone else saw this. That community, that night, it was rather warm. It's not that late in the evening where it would not be unusual for people to be outside. It's a well-traveled neighborhood. If someone was driving by and may have seen what had occurred, or individuals that may have been in the area prior to the homicide occurring, that's who I'm appealing here today. We certainly would like to speak to anyone from the neighborhood who saw this.
Any red flags you can share about the movements of the people in that car in the hours, maybe days even before the shooting?
I won't share anything about what I learned from the people from within the vehicle. I certainly, as I've said before, I want a real untainted version of what happened there. By disclosing any information that I have may interfere with whatever statements these people provide us.
Have they been cooperating with you, the other people in the vehicle?
I will say yes, they have been cooperating with us, and that's as far as I will go. We continue to reach out to the community as best as we can. We certainly would like to speak to anyone, again, who's been in the neighborhood and who's been, who saw this incident. It's very important.
How challenging has it been to get information? A pregnant woman is shot, she's killed, her baby's born, it dies as a result of the shooting. How frustrating, how challenging has this been?
It's been rather challenging. However, I truly believe the community here will come together. I truly believe that they see this as something that shouldn't be happening in their neighborhood. Obviously the level of violence here is astronomically high, and I will appeal to them again that if they have any information in relation to both of these homicides now, that they're to contact us directly at the Homicide Squad, or they can also supply whatever information they have through the normal channels, through social media and through the Crime Stoppers.
Although that you even have to stand here today and make an appeal considering people who lost their lives in the shooting?
It certainly is troubling. However, we're committed to making sure this stops, and we have a partnership with the community there at Jamestown, and I think it will continue to get better. We know we have some work to do. We know it's a big challenge, but we certainly will do the best we can to try and reach out to them and make sure someone comes forward. Okay, folks?
How do you think announcing that that whoever's arrested will be prosecuted for the death of that baby, how do you think that will generate new leads?
Well, I hope, well, first of all, it's based on a lawful reason why we're doing this, and I hope perhaps it will appeal to someone's conscience, and maybe the individual himself will come forward. But I just hope this will help generate some more tips and some more information from the people in the neighborhood.
What is video? Are you thinking of releasing video?
We are cameras. At this point, we don't have video that would be useful to anyone. There's no real point in releasing a video that's not going to advance the investigation.
But you obviously can see a car, or was it a drive-by?
I'm not going to comment on what we see on the surveillance video. I just know that at this point, it's not appropriate for us to release. Okay, guys?
It's been 10 months since the shooting. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you came to the decision now, 10 months later, to consider the baby a homicide victim? I know this is a very complicated part of the law.
You've probably answered the question yourself. It's a very, very complicated part of the law. We consulted with very senior prosecutors, and based on that consultation, we've come to this decision. Okay, folks?
How do you come to that?
I'm not going to discuss to the actual intricacies of our conference. It's just important to know that at this point, if we were to find the offenders and make an arrest, that they would be charged with the homicide of this baby. Okay, folks?
What is it that's preventing people from stepping forward and giving them that untainted account of what happened?
I don't really know. I hope they would rely on their own common decency to come forward and let us know what happened. But I can't speak for people who don't want to come forward. Okay, folks.
What was that homicide you said might be connected? What was that one?
I didn't say they were connected to any
No, it
homicide.
might be. You're looking at it. You said that.
There was a shooting at Jamestown a couple of weeks ago, is what they're saying. Yes.
What, do you remember the date?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Was it a murder?
It was not a homicide, no. Okay, folks.
Thank you very much. That concludes today's conference. Now, just to clarify, this is homicide number 29 for 2016, and as well, the new one is number 74 for 2016. Candice Rochelle Bobb is 33 years old, as opposed to how we had it in the news release. Thank you. Kyrie, KYRIE BOBB. The hashtag is KyrieBobb, all one word.